Okay, so you have to tell me where you are. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm based in London in the UK. And
Yeah.
where are you located?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you can hear a little bit of a twang, little accent. I'm from the South. Now, I was born in Louisiana and raised in Florida,
Okay.
but my husband and I have lived in Texas for a while. He is actually from Texas, but
Hmm.
when we first got married, we were a military family because he was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, right,
And we
okay.
moved around so much. So when we first had Naya, my eldest child, we decided we wanted to be somewhere close to family.
Hmm.
So we ended up moving here.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's lovely. When I was younger, my parents were, well, my stepdad was in the army, and we did some moving around as well. And we ended up living in Germany, of all
Mhm.
places. So, yeah, but it is nice to settle down as well.
Yes, yes. But now, actually, my husband now, it's kind of things do a 180, right? When
Hmm.
we first got married, he was stationed over in Okinawa, Japan for a year, for the first year of our
Oh,
marriage. Now he actually travels to Asia 2 weeks out of every month,
oh, really? And how do you miss him, or are you used to it
all
now?
the time.
Oh.
I miss him. I can't get used to it, but we just do what we have to do. You
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, no, definitely. And 2 weeks is not too bad. It's not too much. Like
Well,
half the
it's two
month.
weeks out of every month
Yeah. It is a lot of
for
traveling
two
for him as
years.
well. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So how do you guys like manage your time? Because you only have 2 weeks together.
Um, how do we do that? I don't know. We just we just make it work.
Mm.
So we try to make sure that we do some fun things or some family things
Yeah.
every month. My goal is to have us do some type of family event, like go to a museum or
Mhm.
to see something, exciting and educational as a family
Yeah.
once a month. So we try to do that when he's home
Okay.
and make it work.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think once you keep that in mind and you have the plan to do some fun things and make the most of the time, it can be worth it. Because yeah, when me and my husband, when we first started dating, and even for a part of our marriage, he was in the Caribbean and I was in the UK. So
Oh,
yeah, that's how it was for about 2 years.
yeah.
So
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
mhm, I do.
Okay, is your 4 month old the first?
Yeah, she is.
She
Yeah.
is your first. Oh,
Mhm.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It is lovely. It's amazing. It's she's growing so fast already.
It goes by fast, so enjoy every minute of it.
Yes, definitely. And well, she's actually really pushed me to be more efficient, which some people, yeah, it might be hard to imagine if you don't have children, but I think when you do, it's a bit like what you said. You really want to enjoy that time together, and of course she's still young, so she really needs me, and I'm breastfeeding and everything, so I have to be
Hmm.
super efficient.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
definitely.
And I remember going through that too for both of my kids. I breastfed for several months.
Okay.
And so trying to juggle between, I actually work a full time corporate job
Okay.
in human resources. And so that's very, I'll say it's high stress
Mhm.
on top of owning and running my business, on top of the kids, on top. So, yes, everything that's in your circumstances is only designed to help you to be more effective.
Yes, thank you. So are you currently still working the full-time job?
I do.
Oh
I
wow.
juggle everything. And
Wow.
I've been with my company for 21 years.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah.
21 years. I know. I always say, yeah, I started when I was 3. But yeah.
I love it. But so how do you manage? Because you have such amazing content on your website, and yeah, you're welcome. And you're always releasing things on Twitter as well. How do you manage your time?
Wow. One of the things, and I can't say that I'm like a superhero when it comes to productivity, but I can say that I am very time conscious.
Mhm.
Uh, and I recognize that there's only so many minutes in a day. So I just try to make really good use of all of that time, of
Okay.
all of that time. So just like you're saying that you're up at after midnight.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's when I do my best work. I can be up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and have ideas, and I keep a notebook in my iPad by my bed.
Hmm.
So if I think of something, something that I want to blog about or content that I want to create, I want to be able to get that idea out right then.
Right.
But the other thing I do is I really automate just about everything. So
Oh.
everything that I do is there's a system in place for it.
Hmm.
There's automated tools, online resources, anything that I can find. And I do try to delegate somewhat, but I tend to be a bit of a control freak.
Okay.
So, so I rely more on systems and calendars and schedules and things like that.
Okay.
Just I'm very conscious of time.
Yes. And I know that you're an expert in actually helping your clients and other people become more efficient with systems. Could you tell us a bit more about what exactly are these systems and how do you really automate things?
Um, okay, so a couple of different things. And one of the things, my focus and priorities for this year,
Mhm.
I decided this year instead of creating goals, that I was going to come up with priorities, things that were going to be high level, the top things that I would focus on.
Mhm.
So, in terms of systems, one of the things that I am considering to be a priority this year, actually, I'll give you three things.
Okay.
There's So the first is making sure that I have a profitable business.
Mhm.
The second is red velvet relationships.
Mm.
And this is connecting back to the book by Michael Port that talks about booking yourself solid, but he talks about making sure that your relationships are always, um, you're very conscious and aware of how you set boundaries, healthy
Okay.
boundaries in relationships. And then the third is going paperless.
Mm.
so, so
That
with
sounds
those
good.
three priorities in mind, in terms of systems, one of the things that I really had to think through is how do I want to actually help other entrepreneurs to systematize? And what I used to do, and I'll tell you this just as a lesson learned
Yeah.
for myself, the past couple of years I've been working with people on systems of all types. So whether it be time management systems or systems for marketing their businesses or systems for creating a back office and making
Mhm.
sure that things run routinely. But this year, in terms of the profitable business, I realized I had to really narrow the niche and get really super laser focused.
Okay.
So now I am working primarily with independent service providers on content marketing strategy and systems.
Mhm.
So one of the things I found was that it was a real gift for me to be able to create all this stuff,
Yeah.
but then actually be able to make it fly into some type of formation and not just be all over the place. And I decided to really take that and finely tune that and create and help others create systems for themselves that work in terms of how they market their content and market themselves. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does, and
Yeah.
that sounds incredible. And one of the things I wanted to ask, which is like the million-dollar question, how do you leverage the internet for your business?
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. So there's so many different ways I could answer that question, but the one way I'll say, how do you leverage the internet? The best way I leverage the internet and what I share with other people to do is to
Mhm.
really find your gift. So
Okay.
what I mean by that is there's so much information online, and whether it be text-based, video-based, audio, and what you'll find yourself hearing is you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. Everybody should do video. And the thing is, you have to really connect with the way that you enjoy learning and use that style to share with other people. Otherwise, it's going to get really old and you won't connect in a way that's authentic for you. So, for those people, for example, who enjoy blogging,
Mhm.
um, most of the time, those are people who actually enjoy writing, you know.
Okay.
Um, and I mean written blogging. I don't mean necessarily video or audio. So the first step I think you have to take in terms of leveraging the internet is first of all finding where your comfort zone is.
Mhm.
For those who enjoy writing, text blogging is great. For those who enjoy speaking and being on screen, and I'm not really one of those people who enjoys being on video because I'm just really conscious, super conscious of my face. Like, oh, my hair is not done, you know. Um, But there are a lot of people who enjoy that, and they're great. They're masters when it comes to video. But then there are others who are really good at the spoken word.
Mm-hmm.
So the first way to really leverage the internet is find your comfort zone. What is it that you really get comfortable with? And I usually when I'm working with my clients, I try to test them in terms of how do you like to learn? And if
Okay.
you learn best through audio, if you learn best through visual, if you learn, then use that to leverage resources that you'll find through Google, through
Mm-hmm.
Bing, through other types of search engines.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, those are really good tips actually. And well, even myself, I'm like you. I'm not too comfortable actually being on video, but so it's new to me as well to be on video. But you said, how do you enjoy learning? And I noticed that I love to see other people when I'm learning or when I'm trying to research. So I thought, okay, let me try and do the same and give that back.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. And what I enjoy about what you just said, the giving back part, that's really a huge thing for me this year because what I'm finding in terms of sharing content is that a lot of people go in with this thing around, well, I got to make a profit, so I'm going to put stuff out there so that I can generate income.
Mhm.
But it's for me, it's more about let me share my gifts, let me learn and give back to the community that is listening to me, the community that I'm influencing, because they want more than simply um, me asking for a buck. What they want is they want solutions to a particular problem. So
Mhm.
how do you give back? And I
Yeah.
think that that has really been a real focus, and I think it's been a core foundation piece for me when it comes to this content marketing thing is sharing with people that it's about the solutions that you're providing and how you're impacting and transforming other people's lives and businesses through what you
Mhm.
share, not just you increasing your income and making a profit.
Mhm. Definitely, I agree. And one of the things on your blog is about how to be awesome, like how to find your inner awesome, which is I love that. I love the way you've written it and the way you've described things. Could you tell us more about it?
Gosh, finding your awesome is really about getting clear on what you enjoy doing. And part of the reason why I wrote that article is because I was so tired. In this particular week, I think I got bombarded with all these messages about make sure that you go and you find keywords and that you do, SEO searches and that's the way you market. And I said, authentically, having been in this business now, I think I've been coaching now since 2006. So having been in this business for long enough to know and earning my street stripes, I realized that I tried the method, the approach that a lot of other people were taking by simply looking up keywords that were popular and trying to promote and market that way. And that
Mhm.
wasn't authentic. It didn't feel right for me. And I started to lose interest very fast. What being awesome and finding your awesome is about is really understanding what you get passionate and excited about. What do other people tell you that you're really good at? What's a gift that you over and over again are hearing from people? Man, I wish I could do that too. Because your
Mhm.
awesome is in there somewhere. It's not in a bunch of keywords or SEO strategies and all of the other things that you're hearing about. Sure, you're going to have to do some of that work, in terms of just setting your marketing successfully, but the first thing you've got to do is figure out what you really get passionate and enthusiastic about. And frankly, some of the things that you get passionate and enthusiastic about, you may not be that good at. So you have to
Okay.
marry the two. Marry the idea of this is something that's in my heart that feels really right when I talk about it, to the fact that I'm also going to do the work that it takes to be really strong in this area and to understand and to learn enough that I can truly teach other people about it.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. That is, and is that the point where? Because I know people will be wondering. Okay, so I like to do, I don't know, maybe painting, but how do I actually make money from it? Is that the point where you start to actually make cash and have some sales coming in? Is it when you really discover your inner awesome?
I think that honestly, not everything that you get excited about is going to make you money. But I think that that's a great starting place. That you
Okay.
don't want to start in a place where you absolutely have no interest, no
Yeah.
desire to learn, and you're simply doing it because somebody else said that you should be a relationship coach.
Mhm.
And I'll give you an example, a really quick story. A few years back, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I'll never forget that I had a friend, a coaching colleague who was really, awesome in her field.
Mhm.
And she was hosting a relationship conference. And so she wanted me to speak. She wanted me to speak because she knew that my husband and I have been married for years, which we have. We've been
Mhm.
married for a long time, and we have a great relationship, and our marriage works. But I am not a relationship coach. I'm not an
Okay.
expert. And she asked me to speak, and I kept telling her no. And eventually I said, sure, I'll do it because I was just
Okay.
beat down.
Yeah.
But I ended up speaking, and I'll tell you, it was the hardest speech I've ever written. It was the hardest presentation I've ever done because I didn't have a passion for it. Sure, I knew
Mhm.
about my husband and I and how we worked together, but I didn't have a love and a passion for learning more about how to make a relationship work for other people. So I think having a passion and finding your awesome is the first, that's the starting point. But then you absolutely have to still go and research and
Mhm.
see your ideas, and your passion and enthusiasm is something other people are willing to pay for. You've got to do the homework for that too.
Mhm. Yeah. So studying is a key part of it.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And doing the market research and making sure that just because you love it and you're really strong with it, at doing that thing,
Mhm.
uh, it doesn't make an audience love that. You've got to have a sustainable group of people, a market that you can actually go to and say, hey, I've got this gift I want to give, these solutions I want to provide. And they're willing to pay for that and to provide you with an income that's
Mhm.
sustainable over time.
Okay. And do you have any tips on how to find the ideal people to work with?
Finding your niche, finding your group of people, your tribe, your audience, your market. It's a wonderful thing when you find them, but it definitely can take some time.
Yeah.
The tips that I would give, especially from when I think back, and I had to kind of really do a lot of experimenting myself in this area. The tips that I would provide would be, first of all, experiment, like I just said. Bless you.
Sorry. Thank you.
It's okay. First of all, experiment, meaning it may take you a little bit of time to explore different groups, forums, social networks,
Mhm.
explore offline as well, and attend different look up meetups and see if there are meetups where there are people that might have an interest in the thing that you want to talk about. Um, when you explore and you kind of experiment a little bit and start having these conversations, the more you engage in conversations, the more you understand whether or not people are truly attracted to what you have to share. And that's where you find out if they're willing to pay for the
Mhm.
solutions you want to provide as well. So definitely taking the time. And here's where the keyword search thing does come in, because
Mhm.
once you've explored and decided, okay, this is something I'm really excited about, and this is something I want to learn more about, and there's possibly a market out there, then you start putting in that keyword search and start looking up words that you think and that you're hearing from the people that you're talking to that they might input into an online venue like a computer, like a Google
Mhm.
search, to find the solutions in your niche. So when you do that keyword search, you're going to end up finding, and you can put a keyword search. Let me tell you, for example, the relationship thing.
Yeah.
So, relationship coaching. You might you might do a Google search for a relationship forum or online groups talking about dating. Or,
Okay.
I mean, use some of those words that would be inherently part of the conversation that your target market would be talking about.
Okay. Mhm. Those are great tips as well. And have you studied or have you read The 4 Hour Work Week by
I
Tim
have,
Ferriss?
yes.
Is that one like how do you feel about that? Is that something that you're working towards?
Um, I can't say personally that I'm working towards that because I'm such a workaholic that I literally, I mean, I love what I do so much that I could
Mhm.
really fill up every minute of the day if I didn't have to sleep or eat or spend
Yeah.
time with family and do some other fun things.
Yeah.
I could spend all of that time doing what I do online. So I don't aim for the 4 hour work week because that's not where my heart is. But I know that there are a lot of people who do. They would rather, just work 4 hours and then go do all the other things that they fancy to do.
Mhm.
The book, I think, was a really good, it was one of the starter books for me. When I read it, it gave me some really great ideas about how to be creative and
Mhm.
how to establish myself as an expert in the field. So I highly recommend that people read it. But like with any book, I would suggest taking those pieces that work well for you and for the lifestyle that you want
Mhm.
and applying those tips and
Okay.
leaving the rest alone.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And so for this year, what other big things are you working on?
My biggest thing right now, which I'm really excited about, and I hate to say this, but I'll say it because I'm authentic and transparent here.
Okay.
But one of the big things that I'm excited about is Share Strategy Academy. And so, what Share Strategy Academy is about is share is an acronym for the type of content that I want to help people to share. And
Okay.
share stands for systematic, high quality. I'll come back to the A in a second.
Okay.
Relevant. It needs to be relevant and engaging. So if it's all of those things, then
Mhm.
it will be content that people enjoy, that you enjoy creating. And the Strategy Academy is basically designed to be a group of about 6 different modules, learning modules, where I'm sharing things about how you understand yourself
Mhm.
and your brand, how to understand and define who your market is and know what it is they want shared,
Mhm.
how to create an experience in your sharing, in the content that you're creating, and how to make sure that you're managing your time when you're putting that content together, because that can be very overwhelming. So I'm excited about that, but here's the thing I was going to be transparent about.
Yeah.
I have not yet put a date on it
Okay. Okay.
because I was like, I want to spend time actually learning, really, really understanding content strategy. So I've been studying through a course with Northwestern University,
Right.
and I
Okay.
want to finish that.
Mhm.
Uh, and I also want to make sure that I'm able to put really poignant examples, like real life examples, into the course material so that people really get it.
Okay.
And if I put a date on it right now, then I would end up rushing it and not making it as good and as strong as I want it to be. But it
Mhm.
will be first quarter.
Okay.
So I'll say that.
No, that's wonderful. And it sounds like exactly what I think a lot of people will be searching for at the moment. Because that's really, now people are actually wanting high value content. It's not just about putting anything out there. So,
Yes.
yeah, that sounds awesome. And, sorry, one of the things I was going to ask was I know that you describe yourself as an introvert, which is similar to myself. So how did you overcome that? And now you can kind of talk to anybody and you network and you're always vocal on Twitter, for example.
Oh, wow. Okay, that took some years,
Okay.
first of all. So I'm a lot older than I look, for one thing. um, but I will say, in terms of being an introvert, the thing that I recognized about myself is that it's okay. I would get drained. Like people would ask me to go and do presentations, and I remember early on in my career, I did this presentation in front of thousands of people,
Yep.
and I wasn't afraid because I knew what I was talking about, because it was a topic that I got really excited about and I was passionate about. So it was easy for me to talk about the things that I knew. Um, when it would become more difficult is if it's something that I'm really not that excited about. I feel like I'm not equipped to
Mhm.
share about it. And the other thing was, in terms of getting out there, is I realized I had to, because most of the world is extroverted. So I knew
Right.
that I had to find ways that felt more comfortable for me to be able to really interact with others.
Mhm.
Because in the networking situations, offline in particular, I would find myself kind of being over in the corner
Yeah.
while other people were having these great conversations. And I would be perfectly fine and comfortable listening to them, but I didn't really want to engage. It was
Mhm.
more difficult. I realized that if I really wanted to be successful as a business owner and as a marketer, that I had to find ways to adapt. And so one of the ways that I adapted in that situation is I learned how to ask really powerful questions. So I didn't have to do all the talking.
Okay.
Yeah, so just finding different ways to that still satisfied my introversion,
Mhm.
but also allowed me to appear to be extroverted on some levels. And it's offered me the opportunity to engage in a genuine way where I didn't feel fake.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good. And it does, because for me, I'm in the same situation, so I still have a lot more to do on building the confidence. But
Just keep pushing yourself, and experiment. Get out there and go do those things that make you afraid a little bit. And each time you'll be a little less afraid. The
mm,
more you get on video, the less afraid you'll be. The more you speak about things that you really know and you get excited about, the more you're doing what you're doing now,
yeah, thank
the
you.
easier it'll
Yeah,
the easier it'll be.
thank you very much. And so we're coming to the end of our allocated time together. So just a few more quick questions while you're here before you go. Um, in terms of technology and the internet, is there any apps or any kind of cloud innovations, I call it, anything like that that you love to use?
Oh gosh, yeah. I love just about any online tool there is, but I'll tell you, my biggest time management tools
Hmm.
have been Evernote. Evernote is like, I mean, it's an amazing resource because there's so many different things that I can do with that,
Okay.
from storing information to sharing with other people to collaboration.
Hmm.
So Evernote is a number one. But secondly, I have to say, having some type of time or task management planner like a Nozbe is
Okay.
the one that I'm currently using, Nozbe. Nozbe has been really helpful because it allows me to manage my projects and schedules, and it integrates with Evernote as well. So a
Okay.
lot of the content that I'm creating right now,
Hmm.
I can create these schedules that tend to sync with my Google Calendar. So I
Ah.
can look on that calendar and say, okay, this is what I should be launching right now. This is what I should be promoting. This is what I should be creating.
Ah.
And
Okay.
that's been a huge time saver.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds wicked. And very lastly, are you an Apple or a Microsoft person?
Okay, so I love my iPad.
Ah. Okay.
I do love my iPad. I do. I would like to get a Mac at some point, but I have not made the transition.
Yep. Yeah. I understand. That's like me as well. And do you have a phone? Is it iPhone or um,
It's an Android.
Android? Okay.
Yep. I have an Android phone, and actually, I just got the LG G2.
Okay.
Even though I know they're coming out with the LG Flex, I like the fact that it's easy on my eyes. My eyes are maturing as faster than my body. So I like that it's easy on the eye and has a brilliant screen and it does all my fancy smartphone stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing the time with us today and sharing all of your strategies as well.
You're very welcome.
And we will share the links in the email and on the website as well.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Ruth, it's been my pleasure. I'm so happy that I got a chance to meet you. I don't know if we're cut off or not
No,
yet,
no,
but
I'm still here.
just wanted to let you know it's been amazing to meet you finally in person, and thank you for all of your emails and keeping me on track.
You're very
If
welcome.
there's anything I can do for you to support what you're doing, you let me know.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Thank you so much. It's been really inspiring speaking with you.